Dover Motor Speedway handed out a $1 million prize on May 17, 2026, and the man who took it home was Denny Hamlin. But by the time Monday morning rolled around, nobody was really talking about the win itself. They were talking about what allegedly happened right after the checkered flag drop, a moment between two Joe Gibbs Racing teammates that has split the NASCAR community right down the middle. This was the first ever NASCAR All-Star Race held at Dover, and the Monster Mile made absolutely sure nobody walked away calling it bull. Two massive 9-car crashes. Big names destroyed before the money round even started. A back-and-forth duel for $1 million. And then a post-race exchange that turned a great racing story into something far more personal. Let's break down everything that went down. The race, the battle, and the moment that everyone is still talking about. The 2026 NASCAR All-Star Race came with a brand new format. All 36 cars started the race, broken into 3 segments, 75 laps, then 75 laps, then a 200-lap finale for the $1 million prize. After segment 1, the top 26 were inverted, meaning the winner restarted dead last, and the 26th place finisher inherited pole position. Cars finishing 27th through 36th kept their exact running position. Then, going into the final 200-lap money round, the field was cut from 36 to 26 cars. 19 drivers were automatically locked in as past champions, all-star winners, or recent race winners. 6 more spots went to the drivers with the best average finishes across the first 2 segments. And 1 final spot went to the winner of the All-Star fan vote, which went to Daniel Suarez. Dover itself was already a significant character in this story before the race even started. This concrete 1-mile oval, known as the Monster Mile, was also debuting a new increased horsepower, reduced downforce package, which made the racing product sharper and more physical than Dover had seen in years, combined with light resin applied across the track surface and a tire dragon used all weekend. The track was as prepared as it could be for what turned out to be an absolutely brutal. Denny Hamlin started from pole position after recovering from a spin during his qualifying lap. He looped his number 11 Toyota on the warm-up lap, but still posted a 2-lap time of 1 minute, 49.298 seconds to claim the top starting spot. His second All-Star Race pole, the first coming back in 2015 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where he also won. On lap 2, before most fans had even fully settled into their seats, the race exploded. Ryan Preece came down the banking entering turn 1 and made contact with Todd Gilliland's number 34 Ford. That contact triggered a 9-car pileup that reached out and grabbed some of the biggest names. Kyle Larson, a 3-time All-Star Race winner, hit the wall in his number 5 Chevrolet. Ryan Blaney suffered heavy front-end damage. Chase Elliott, voted 8 consecutive times as NASCAR's most popular driver, was collected as well. Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, John Hunter Nemechek, and Cole Custer were also caught up in the mess. The worst of it, though, belonged to Preece. His number 60 Ford made a heavy impact with the outside wall, and the rear end of the car erupted. Preece climbed out unscathed and was quickly seen by and released from the track's infield care center. Afterward, he put it plainly, "I don't know what happened, but if it was anything, it was probably just too close on my part to go into turn 1 and just got sideways. So if it was my fault, I'm sorry." He later confirmed he was taking responsibility in a social media post. After a lengthy red flag cleanup, Brad Keselowski led the restart but gave up the point to Hamlin, who quickly built a 3.5-second lead in just 13 laps. With 14 laps to go in the segment, Carson Hocevar suffered a flat right front tire and hit the wall, bringing out a caution. Hamlin stayed out on old tires, but William Byron led a group of 17 cars on a Pittsburgh road for fresh rubber before a 6-lap sprint. Bubba Wallace stayed out and restarted second. He passed Hamlin in turn 4 and led at the front. Then, with just 3 laps to go, disaster struck again. Riley Herbst got loose exiting turn 4 and received contact from Alex Bowman, causing a massive stack-up on the front stretch. Elliott was collected a second time, and so were Nemechek, Zane Smith, Christopher Bell, Chris Bisher, Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, and others. 9 cars involved. The segment ended under yellow, with Bubba Wallace taking the. Hamlin finished second in segment 1. Ross Chastain was third. Chase Briscoe was fourth. The second 75-lap segment didn't slow down. On lap 6, Chastain and Keselowski made contact exiting turn 2. Wallace also took damage in the Chastain's number 1 Busch Light Chevrolet ended up with the front clip destroyed and was retired from the event entirely. Keselowski backed his battered number 6 Ford down pit road on 4 flat tires, all he could do given the state of the car. As Keselowski put it afterward, "We have 4 flat tires. That's the only way the car will move." Shortly after, Shane Van Gisbergen got sucked around in turn 4, forcing another caution in heavy traffic coming off a restart. AJ Allmendinger briefly led, but Tyler Reddick, already the most dominant driver through the 2026 regular season, sailed past him on lap 25 and took control. A competition caution allowed most of the field to pit for fresh Goodyear tires. Chase Briscoe took the lead from Allmendinger under green, but with 9 laps remaining, Reddick went back to the front and held it to win segment. Briscoe finished second. Hamlin was third. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs suffered a tire failure while running 6th on lap 126, sending his number 54 Toyota into the wall and effectively ending his day in the money room. Then came the brutal reality of the Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain, 2 of the most popular and decorated drivers in the field, had accumulated so much damage from the earlier incidents that their cars could not be repaired in time. Backups were not allowed. Both drivers were eliminated from the 200-lap finale without ever getting a fair shot at them. Elliott reflected on the chaos with a simple assessment. "It was pretty wild. I hate to get caught up in that. I knew better. I saw it getting crazy. I should have bailed." 26 cars remained for the money round. Among them were several, including Larson, Blaney, Keselowski, Busch, Bell, and Wallace, whose cars were heavily damaged and significantly slower than the rest of them. This is where the race became something worth remembering. Chase Briscoe had not had an easy week. During Saturday's practice, he slammed the wall hard enough that his team had to essentially rebuild the entire car overnight. On top of that, Briscoe had been battling a stomach bug for 2 to 3 days leading into the race. He didn't know how the day was going to go physically, and yet, when the 200-lap finale started, Briscoe was immediately among the fastest cars on the track. After Hamlin led the opening lap, Briscoe moved to the front and led the next 39 consecutive laps. Hamlin then led in 3 separate stints. Then Briscoe took it back and led another 22 laps. These 2 teammates, the number 11 and the number 19, combined to lead all but 36 laps of the entire 200-lap segment. But Briscoe kept running into the same wall. Every time he grabbed the lead, his rear grip would fade. He explained it clearly after the race. "I just didn't have a rear grip. Any time that I was not the leader, I would be really, really good. And as soon as I would take the lead, I would go into the next corner. I'm like, man, I'm way too loose." He tried backing up to Hamlin deliberately, trying not to burn his right rear tire too aggressively. But around lap 30 of each long run, the car would start getting loose, Briscoe would get passed from the lead, and then, almost ironically, his car would come back to him once he was in dirty air behind him. The problem, as Briscoe diagnosed it, was that his team had been forced to start segments 1 and 2 from 16th and 22nd due to the inversion. They never had the chance to set the car up for clean air running at the front. When the finale finally put him there for extended stretches, the car simply wasn't optimized. On lap 171, with 29 laps remaining, Hamlin seized the lead for the final time. He never gave it back. The final margin was 0.887 seconds over Briscoe. Eric Jones came home third in his number 43 Legacy Motor Club Toyota, his best finish of the season. Austin Dillon was fourth, and rookie Connor Zilisch, who had received a pit road penalty near the midpoint of the race, rallied steadily to take 5th place. Also his best finish of the year in the number 88 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet. Hamlin's win was his 3rd consecutive at Dover, adding to points wins in 2024 and 2025. It was his 2nd career All-Star Race victory, making him the 3rd driver in NASCAR history to win the event at multiple tracks. At 45 years old, he became the 2nd oldest All-Star Race winner ever, behind only Mark Martin, who won at age 46 in 2005. Hamlin led a race-high 103 laps in the final segment alone. In his post-race interview, Hamlin credited his equipment and his team. "It makes it a lot easier when you've got a car this fast. We strive to be number 1, and we did it today. I just knew that the game changer for us was long runs and obviously the ability to pass when we're behind someone." And then came what everyone is still talking about. After the checkered flag, Chase Briscoe walked over toward Denny Hamlin to offer his congratulations. That's standard between teammates after a hard-fought race. Normal stuff. Except, according to Briscoe, What came back was anything but normal. Briscoe told reporters outside the number 19 hauler that Hamlin's response was to tell him he was still not Cup Series level. And Briscoe did not mince words about how he received it. He called the comment classless, not emotional, not the heat of the moment, not competitive trash talk between rivals. Classless. You could hear in his tone that this wasn't frustration talking. This was a driver who felt genuinely disrespected after proving himself all weekend. Think about the full picture here. Briscoe crashed in practice on Saturday. His team rebuilt the entire car overnight. He battled a stomach bug for nearly 3 days. He led 61 laps in the money round against one of the best short track and concrete track drivers this sport has seen in the modern era. He finished 0.887 seconds behind a driver who openly admitted his car was significantly faster. And when he walked over to shake his teammate's hand, the response he allegedly received was a suggestion that he doesn't belong at this level. Hamlin, for his part, did not directly deny the comment when reporters pressed him. He deflected, saying emotions run high after races and that they raced hard all night. That non-denial became fuel on the fire online, and fans divided sharply. Some defended Hamlin immediately. The argument on his side is straightforward. This is who Denny Hamlin has always been. Ultra-competitive, psychologically aggressive inside the garage. The kind of driver who has never been shy about controlling the pecking order around. To his supporters, this is just old-school NASCAR mentality from a veteran protecting his territory. But a significant portion of fans viewed it differently. Briscoe is the new driver at Joe Gibbs Racing, a first-year JGR driver still building his credibility inside one of NASCAR's premier organizations. He raced his teammate cleanly and respectfully, even at the cost of his own chance to win. NASCAR insiders Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic both weighed in on exactly that point. As Gluck noted, Briscoe was emphatic in his assessment post-race. If Hamlin had not been his teammate, the approach would have been completely different. Briscoe said he raced at roughly 50% of what he was capable of, holding back from making a move that might have wrecked both cars. As Gluck put it, he said if it wasn't a teammate, he would have opened up his hands more, and it would have been dirty. He could have won that way. Bianchi backed Briscoe's decision entirely. Chase is right. You're kind of new guy at JGR. You don't want to upset the apple cart. You want to be a good teammate. And so the question hanging over Joe Gibbs Racing right now is a real one. Is this just post-race heat that evaporates by the time Charlotte weekend arrives? Or is this the beginning of something that slowly builds through the back half of the regular season and into the playoff? JGR has been under pressure all year as younger drivers push to establish themselves while veterans like Hamlin command the spotlight. This moment did not happen in a vacuum. Separate from the teammate drama, the 2026 All-Star Race format drew mixed reviews from nearly everyone involved. Briscoe himself put it most directly. All-Star races typically are like the shortest race of the year. I felt like it was a Coke 600 or something, or the Southern 500. It took forever. Even Hamlin, after winning $1 million, suggested NASCAR needs to rethink the structure, starting with returning Dover to its rightful place as a points race venue. When asked where the All-Star Race should go after this, Hamlin was clear. First thing is let's give Dover their points race back, and then let's figure out where we're going to go, and then figure out the form. Let's start there. Fox Sports' final NASCAR broadcast of 2026 also drew heavy criticism from fans on social media. Complaints centered on excessive commercial breaks, incorrect driver calls from a booth, and commentary that struggled to keep pace with us. Veteran broadcaster Mike Joy was cited by many as the one consistent positive in the coverage, though even he wasn't immune to criticism. Going forward, Prime Video takes over with the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte on May 24th, beginning a stretch of 5 consecutive races on the streaming platform. On a completely different note, one of the most genuinely moving moments of the entire weekend came in the simplest exchange. When asked what he planned to do with the $1 million prize, Hamlin didn't hesitate. Probably give it to Mama. For those who know Hamlin's story, that answer carries real weight. In December, a fire destroyed his parents' home. His father, Denny Hamlin, who had already been dealing with health complications before the fire, passed away shortly after. Hamlin has been dedicating this entire 2026 season to his father's memory. Using a portion of his All-Star winnings to help his mother furnish her new home is exactly the kind of detail that reminds everyone that behind the controversy and the competitiveness, there are real human beings carrying real weight through every single week. The Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway is up next, May 24th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime Video. It's the longest race of the NASCAR season and one of its crown jewels. Ross Chastain, the defending race winner, is still searching for his first victory since that 2025 Charlotte win. And Catherine Legge will attempt the Memorial Day double, competing in both the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day, a logistical feat that only Tony Stewart has ever completed. For Chase Briscoe, Charlotte represents an opportunity. He sits 17th in Cup Series points, but is already locked into the playoffs. The number 19 JGR team has posted strong finishes in back-to-back weeks. The speed is clearly there. And after everything that happened at Dover, the rebuilt car, the stomach bug, the late race battle, and the alleged comment from his own teammate, Briscoe enters Charlotte with something to prove on his own terms, without holding anything back. The question now isn't whether Briscoe belongs at the Cup Series. Dover answered that. The question is whether Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe channel this into something that makes both of them better, or whether it becomes a rivalry that defines the back half of JGR's 2026 season.